Kev's going to play a few songs, including some Dylan and some Leonard Cohen, maybe.
Yeah.
And then Niall will give a response. And then we'll have break. And so is everyone okay?
Yeah.
I got some quiz questions. That James sent me. Oh, but that's me after. Oh, will we?
Do you want? Do you want?
Do you want one?
Yeah.
Okay, the Nobel Prize, right, okay. Can you guess who this is?
Yeah.
Okay, do I give the year, James? Okay, 1982. Anyone know? The literature. Okay, this is why this writer won the Nobel Prize in that year. For his novels and short stories in which the fantastic and the realistic are combined in a richly composed world of... Sorry?
Isaac Bashir singer?
No. World of imagination, reflecting a continent's life and conflict.
Gabriel García Márquez.
Gabriel García Márquez!
I love singing this song. I love singing this song, and I was like looking at videos and stuff to see if I could find anything interesting about it, and I could, but it's a nice interview where he goes. It's a really fun interview where he's being interviewed by a really kind of like straight, idiotic guy. He's just saying really stupid things. He's just sitting there, just taking it. But one thing he says, it's a true story. I just changed the words, he says. So he read it in the newspaper and changed the words. It's called The Lonesome Death of Hattie Carroll.
Yay!
And Phoebe's going to sing with me. So we just had a quick run through in the. There's a lovely little alcove just out there, which if you sing in there, and then someone else is in the female toilets, they get a really nice. Someone just couldn't work out where it's coming from. Williams and Singer killed poor Hattie Carroll with a cane that he twirled round his diamond ring finger. At the Baltimore Hotel, society gathering, and the cops were called in, and his weapon took from him, and they rode him in custody down to the station and booked Williams and Singer for first-degree murder. But you philosophize disgrace and criticize all fears. Take the rag away from your face. Now ain't the time for your tears. Williams and Singer, who had 24 years, owned a tobacco plantation of 600 acres, with rich, wealthy parents to provide and protect him. High office relations in the politics of Maryland reacted to his deed with a shrug of his shoulders and swear words and sneering, and his tongue it was snarling. On a matter of minutes, on bail was out walking. Ah, but you philosophize disgrace and criticize all tears. Take the rag away from your face. Now ain't the time for your tears. Hattie Carroll was a maid in the kitchen. She was 51 years old and gave birth to 10 children, who cleaned up the food and took out the garbage, and never once sat at the head of the table. They just cleaned up all of the food from the table, and never once spoke to the people at the table. They just emptied the ashtrays on a whole nother level. Got killed by a blow, laid slain by a cane that sailed through the air and came down through the room, doomed and determined to destroy all the gentle and he never done nothing to Williams and Singer. Ah, but you philosophize disgrace and criticize all fear. Take the rag away from your face. Now ain't the time for your fear. In the courtroom of order, the judge pounded his gavel to show that all's equal and the courtroom is on the level and the strings in the books ain't pulled and persuaded and even the nobles get properly handled right after the cops have chased after and caught him, and the ladder of law has no top and no bottom, and he spoke through his cloak, all stern and distinguished, and handed out strongly for penalty and repentance, Williams and Singer with a 6-month sentence. Oh, and you philosophize disgrace and criticize all fears. Oh, bury the rag deep in your face. Now is the time for your tears. So many people who like that song. Normally there's like maybe 1 or 2 people in the room who know it. Everyone knew it. Okay, so
the Zanzingers don't like it.
The Zanzingers don't like it, no they don't. They don't normally come to gigs. That's the problem. Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to try a Leonard Cohen one now. And this one, so Leonard Cohen I think died on the Sunday, I believe. Can you correct me on that? We heard about it on the Thursday, and Trump got elected on the Wednesday morning. So the timeline is, so he died on the Sunday, Trump gets elected, then Leonard, it sounds like Leonard's like, oh fuck this, I'm out of it. But actually, he died on the Sunday. So it felt really appropriate, this song, at that time. So let's see if it still does. Everybody knows that the dice are loaded. Everybody rolls with their fingers crossed. Everybody knows that the war is over. Everybody knows that the good guys lost. Everybody knows the fight was fixed. The poor stay poor and the rich get rich. That's how it goes. And everybody knows. Everybody knows that the boat is leaking. Everybody knows that the captain lied. Everybody's got this broken feeling, like their father or their dog just died. Everybody's talking to their pockets. Everybody wants a box of chocolates and a long stem roll. Everybody knows. Everybody knows that you love me, baby. Everybody knows that you really do. Everybody knows that you've been faithful. Give or take a night or two. Everybody knows you've been discreet. There was just so many people that you had to meet without your clothes. And everybody knows. Everybody sings along with me. Everybody knows. Everybody knows. That's how it goes. Oh, everybody knows. Even louder. Everybody knows. Everybody knows. That's how it goes. everybody knows. Everybody knows that it's now or never. Everybody knows that it's me or you. Everybody knows that you live forever when you've done a line or two. Everybody knows the deal is rotten. Old Black Joe's still picking cotton for your ribbons and bows. Oh, everybody knows. Everybody knows that the plague is coming. Everybody knows that it's moving fast. Everybody knows the naked man on the moon is just a shining artifact of the past. Everybody knows that the scene is dead. There's gonna be a meter on your bed that will disclose what everybody knows. Everybody knows that you're in trouble. Everybody knows what you've been through. From the bloody cross on top of Calvary to the beach at Malibu. Everybody knows it's falling apart. Take one last look at this broken heart before it blows. Oh, everybody knows. Let me go for it. Everybody knows. Everybody knows. That's how it goes. Oh, everybody knows. One more time. Everybody knows. Everybody knows. That's how it goes. Oh, everybody knows. Thank you so much. It's been a real pleasure. Thank you. And just
keep going.
One more song. We've got one more, yeah. And for this one, I'd like you all to be my collective mic organ, because I can't play the mic organ. So I'm going to tell you what to sing. You probably know it. What's that?
Not involved, really.
Don't give up. Yeah. So your part, and I'll sing as well, goes like this. You say you love me, then you think you love me, but you know you might be wrong. You say you told me that you wanna hold me, but you know you're not that strong. I can't do what I've done before. Oh, I just can't break you anymore. I'm gonna let you pass, and I'll go last. Oh, in time will tell just who has failed and who's been left behind. When you go your way, I go mine. You say you disturb me and you wanna hurt me, but you know sometimes you lie. Oh, you say you're shaking and you're always aching, but you know how hard you try. Oh, sometimes it gets so hard to care. Oh, I can't be this way everywhere. I'm gonna let you pass. a grudge, he's gonna fall down on you. No, this is it. And he's badly peeled, and he walks on stilts. Watch out, he don't fall on you. 1, 2, 3, here we go! Stories that you know I believe are true. You say you got some other kind of lover, and yes, I believe you do. You say he like kisses, and not like his. Oh, this time I'm not gonna tell you why that is. I'm just gonna let you pass now. Oh, and I'll go last. Oh, and time will tell. This you has found, and he's been left behind. When you go your way, I'll go mine.
No.
Yeah.
We're here now for Kevin Davidson. That's it. Right. Before we allow you out again, we're going to have a reading from Mr. Elder. All right, now.
So Dylan Thomas described himself as a twopenny Christ, which is a pretty good working definition for any poet in Christendom. He was associated with New Apocalypse, lots of biblical imagery. You see a lot of it in Altar Wise by Owl Light, a 10-strong sonnet sequence. This is number 8. This was the crucifixion on the mountain, time's nerve and vinegar, the gallow grave, as tarred with blood as the bright thorns I wept. The world's my wound, God's Mary in her grief, bent like 3 trees, and bird packed through her shift. With pins for teardrops is the long wound's woman. This was the sky, Jack Christ. Each minstrel angle drove in the heaven-driven of the nails, till the 3-colored rainbow from my nipples, from pole to pole, leapt round the snail-waked world. I by the tree of thieves, old glory's sawbones, unsex the skeleton this mountain minute, and by this blow clock, witness of the sun, suffer the heavens' children through my heartbeat. I'm going to respond to that with an original poem written in Jerusalem. The title of the poem is a sequence of poems called Firing Slits. I'm looking through firing slits, kind of seeing things and imagining other things. So this is the Twopenny Christ theme. Firing Slit 2. Through the firing slit, ensconced in an embrasure. The cross, the crux, the Latin cross, the cross, the crux, the Jerusalem cross, the cross, the crux, the Celtic cross, the cross, the crux, the dagger cross, the cross, the crux, the St. Andrew's cross, the St. George's cross, the cross, the crux, the Latin letter X, the Roman numeral X, the cross, the crux, the patriarchal cross, the Lorraine cross, the cross, the crux, the rose cross, the gold cross, the cross, the crux, the papal cross, the Cathar cross, the cross, the crux, the stepped cross, the Golgotha cross, the cross, the crux, the iron cross, the swastika, the cross, the crux, the crusader cross, the exploding cross, the cross, the crux, the Croix de Guerre, the true cross, the cross of all nations. Through a firing slit, the swords of Jesus. No! A patch of grass, the grey of cement, Traffic, lots of traffic, cars, not chariots on Suleiman the Magnificent Street, going left and right, not coming this way, traffic to and fro, an ordinary polluted morning, the safety barriers of Suleiman the Magnificent Street, a headscarf people walking in daylight, cars, not cavalry.
Alright, do you want to have a quick break while we set up? Is that okay? Yeah? Okay. Alright, thank you everyone who played the first half. And I'll see you in 10 minutes, okay?
Up and down, high and dry, man and boy, has been living now for 15 years or centuries in this timeless, beautiful, charming, selling house. In this far forgetful and sporting place of heroin, woman, major and silly duckling, cartoon, background, dolls, ghosts, bears, strangers, cherry trees, mysteries, reptiles in the chimneys, rats in the belfries, skeletons in the cupboards, cops in mud, couples, justice, fairies, rain, and humans, often all too human, too. And they single him up the corner and have little friends in the streets anymore and complain to the agents of all trouble with the inhabitants and the food of the heavens by their Christian name. Now some people live in Darwin because they were born in land and saw no good reason to move. Others migrated here for a number of